Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's Essential Education weekly live stream. We are so happy that you have joined us here today. If you're connecting with us live, we're also happy if you're viewing at a later time via recording. And we have an important topic today that we want to cover. It's one that can strike some fear and anxiety in many a tester and many a student trying to get their high school equivalency credential, take that test, pass it, and move forward in your steps in work and life. And that subject is math. Math, love it or hate it, is a part of the equation. I need some drums and a cymbal today. Math is a part of that equation that all feeds into the solution that you want in hand, and that is getting your high school equivalency credential. My name's Jen, and I am the Student Success Coach here at Essential Education, and we as an organization have a passion, and that is your success. And because we want you to be successful not only in your subject preparation and passing the exam, we want you to be prepared in all aspects of work and life. We have a wonderful lineup of programs and services designed to meet you right where you are on your life's journey. And we attack that in lots of different ways. We attack that again with specific instruction, but we also attack that with letting you know all of the things that surround that instruction, maybe that surround the test itself, that surround some of your state rules and regulations. And today's session is going to help you to have a better idea of what to expect, and then maybe some steps to best prepare for this scary subject of math. Math does not have to be as scary as it may be to you. It doesn't have to be as scary as it sounds. It doesn't have to be intimidating. It doesn't have to be something that induces anxiety. All you have to do is prepare, plan to pass, know what to expect, and then build up that confidence come test day. So let's talk specifically about the test itself, because a lot of people want to jump into, individual subject study, but it really does help to get a good overview of what the test makers are going to ask, how they're going to ask it, the time frame that you'll have to perform this test within, the number of questions that you'll have. And because each of the 3 national certifying exams that are offered across the United States in various states and provinces are different a little bit in the nature, we want to address those today. We titled this session GED Math, but we know that not every state offers the GED. Not every state offers only the GED. You have some choices in the test that you take in your individual area. And if you're wondering what that is in your area, you can check that on our website at essentialed.com/where to test for more information. Click your state, you'll find all your list of rules and regulations and which test you need to take, because you do want to get test specific preparation. So in order to figure out what to expect, we want to address math and what test makers of each of those 3 exams will ask. Let's first talk about GED. For the math section of the GED, you will have 115 minutes to answer 46 questions. Those 46 questions, while a majority of them might be multiple choice, you will have a wide question type variety. They're going to differ greatly in your question type. Again, the majority of those questions, most of the questions will be multiple choice, but some of them will be radio button questions. Some of them will be more than one answer to a question, multiple selects, fill in the blank, drag and drop. So you want to get used to that question type and that format. We can give you some information about that, of course, as an enrolled student with Essential Education, because our students will take test-specific preparation, and part of that is not only knowing what the questions will be and how to answer them from a subject matter, but also the question format and not getting thrown off by that. So GED Math, 115 minutes to answer 46 questions of multiple types. What are your test area focus areas, or what test makers like to call content areas? There are 4. Basic math, which is your numbers and operation, geometry, basic algebra, That actually is a big portion of the test. More than half, 55% of that test is basic algebra. And then your graphs and functions. You want to make sure that you are studying for each of those different areas, and you're wanting to make sure that you get full and complete test prep in those areas. The GED math test is broken up into 2 parts, and you will be given a break in between. So that's just your overall GED math in a snapshot. Okay, what if you're taking the HiSET? For HiSET, very similar content areas. You're also going to have basic math, numbers, operations, geometry, data, and statistics. That's kind of like graphs and functions. They just kind of call it something different. It's your ratios, your fractions, those types of things. And then again, a big chunk, your basic algebra. Now, GED is a little bit more than half of the math test, your algebra. HiSET's a little less than half. 45% of that math test will be questions on basic algebra. So make sure that you're really bulking up those basic algebraic skills. Algebra then is a subset of math that tends to strike some fear in students. But again, that fear can be dispelled with quality preparation and knowing what to expect in that area. We're going to give you lots of resources for that as we close out our time together today. So that's your general breakdown of HiSET content areas, very similar in nature to GED. What about the questions themselves? You're going to have 90 minutes on the HiSET math section to finish 55 questions. Those questions will be all multiple choice. No variance in your question type. They will all be cut and dry, multiple choice. So that's a good idea to know what to expect when you're taking HiSET math. And HiSET across the board is all multiple choice, with the exception of the essay. If you're a HiSET tester, love them or hate them, multiple choice questions are your only question type with the exception of that essay. And we have lots of different resources here at Essential Education to help you specifically target answering multiple choice questions of all different subject matters. And we'll give you some resources for that as well. All right, so we covered GED. We covered HiSET. Now let's move on and cover the task. For our task testers, if you are taking the test in English, you will have 105 minutes to complete the math section. If you're taking the test in Spanish, you'll have a little bit longer to complete that section, 115 minutes. Just like the HiSET, task testers will have all multiple choice questions. You'll have somewhere between 42 and 43 multiple choice questions on the task in math. That just varies, 42 or 43, depending on what test form you have. There's just different versions of the test. Whenever you go in to take any standardized test, you'll never get the same test twice. There's lots of different forms. So depending on which form of the test you take for task, you'll have 42 or 43, again, all multiple choice questions, and you'll have either 105 minutes or 115 minutes, whether you're taking the test in English or whether you're taking the test in Spanish. Those general content areas, again, very, very similar to GED and HiSET, your basic math, numbers, and operation, your geometry, your graphs, functions, data, ratios, probability. But for the test in task for math, you've got a lower portion of basic algebra. Only 26% of the task math section is that basic algebra. So a little bit less algebra in task than there is for GED and HiSET. Just something to know, just something to tuck away. Again, content for all 3 tests is pretty much the same across the board: math, reading, science, social studies. The biggest differences are the scoring, the way that the test makers ask the questions, and some of the test maker language that they use from time to time. That's why one of the best things you can do to prepare for any subject is to get that test-specific preparation. Make sure if you're taking the GED, you have GED resources. If you're taking the HiSET or the task, you have HiSET or task resources. Because it really would be a shame if you studied and understood the subject, but you got thrown off by the way the test makers ask the questions. So don't do that. Again, best way to pass is to prepare to pass. So make sure you're preparing with test-specific resources. Okay, let's talk about some general things that apply to all 3 exams. Calculators, that's a big question that students have. Will I get to use a calculator? Do I have to bring my own calculator? Do I have to buy a really expensive calculator? Yes, you can use a calculator. No, you don't have to purchase a calculator, but you do need to know how to use it. It's a Texas Instruments style of calculator that they use for all 3 exams. Your test proctor, the person that is there in the room, or your online proctor, if you're testing with one of the new offerings for GED or HiSET online, that person administering your exam will let you know when you can and when you cannot use a calculator. It will be very, very clear, and you want to make sure that you follow those rules. So it's a Texas Instrument calculator that you are able to use. If you are testing with HiSET or with Task at a local testing center where you're using a pencil to paper test, some of those test centers still use the Scantron with the old school number 2 pencil, all of those things, then you will most likely have a handheld calculator that will be provided for you to use there at the test center. If you are, however, taking the HiSET or the Task online, or if you are testing on a computer at the testing center, it's the computerized version of the exam, or definitely if you're a GED tester, then your calculator is going to come to you in the form of a screen-in-screen function. And if you have any homework from today's time together, it is this: get to know that calculator. That calculator is there for you as a resource, and it would be a big mistake to not be able to use that resource to its fullest advantage because you don't understand how to use the calculator. It can be a little bit tricky, especially the screen-in-screen option. So I definitely encourage you to go to those national test sites, GED, HiSET, and Task. Look at any calculator tutorials that they have there on their website so that you can get used to how to use that calculator. And rest assured, if you are an enrolled student with Essential Education, we are going to give you a specific unit and a specific lesson just on the calculator because it is an important part of your preparation. Don't wait until test day and say, I'll figure out how to use it when I get there. Don't wait. Make sure you know how to use that calculator beforehand. You want to use that resource to its fullest advantage. Another resource, often again, a question that we get, will I have to memorize a whole bunch of formulas in math? I know that you use all different kinds of formulas. Will I have to memorize them all? No. All 3 test providers will give you a formula sheet to use that day. That will either be a physical piece of paper or, again, just like the calculator, a screen-in-screen option. You do have some prep work, however, on that formula sheet to do ahead of time as well. Just because they give you the formulas doesn't mean they're going to give you a full explanation of how to use all of the formulas. So make sure you're familiar with any abbreviations or any symbols that are used within those formulas. Make sure that the preparation that you're using to provide you with that full test readiness is inclusive of an explanation of those formulas and how to apply them. If you're a student with Essential Education, we're going to give you a copy of exactly what that formula sheet looks like so you know what to expect. And then, of course, we'll walk you through the steps of how to use it and when. So those are 2 big resources that the test makers know will be helpful for you, but you have a little bit of preparation time ahead of time to know how to best use those resources. All right, so speaking of preparation, a lot of people say, well, math is big, it's scary, it's anxiety inducing, and I don't even know where to begin, okay? The first thing that you can do to give yourself a big boost is to refamiliarize yourself with math vocabulary. And I say refamiliarize yourself because for most of us, this is going to be a refresher, right? Did you hear me use the word basic several times today? Basic geometry, basic algebra. It may not be that we don't know how to do these types of problems or that we can't do these types of problems. We may just not remember how. So part of it is just refreshing your mind, or maybe if you struggled with learning a particular process or a particular step back in the day, maybe that instruction just didn't speak to your learning style at that time. So you want to make sure that you are partnered with a preparation program that speaks to multiple learning styles so that maybe you can refresh your mind or learn it in a new way this time if you struggled with math in the past. So make sure that you're brushing up on those basics. And along the way, make sure you're getting familiar with basic math words, basic math vocabulary. Know what it means when I say sum or when I say the quotient of. Get familiar with mean and median and mode. Again, those are test maker words that will be used within the exam, and the test maker may or may not define those words in the context of the test. They may just expect you to know that. As a general rule of thumb, these are not exams that you're expected to memorize a bunch of material and then spit it back out. But when it comes to general vocabulary associated with each of the subjects, general things that you should know, then the test makers do have an expectation there that you will already know these things, that they can tell you to multiply this or divide that or find the average here, and that you know what that means. So refamiliarize yourself with some basic vocabulary, and then really dig in and brush up on those basics, either by reteaching yourself how to do something through great instruction, or maybe learning something in a way that speaks to you in a different way and a better way now that you're a little bit more seasoned in life. All right, so brush up on those basics, get to know math vocabulary, and then make sure you're partnering with a quality preparation program. Of course, we all want you to be a part of our essential education program here. We know that we also partner with a lot of schools, because for some students, having that direct in-classroom experience is the best thing for you to do for your learning style. But no matter who you partner with for your preparation, again, we hope that is us here at Essential Education, I want you to keep three big things in mind. When it comes specifically to the math and really to all the subjects in general, make sure that you're familiarizing yourself with not only what's going to be asked and how to perform those specific tasks, those specific skills, but make sure you're getting test-aligned preparation that will set you up for how those questions are going to be asked. You don't want anything to throw you off come test day. Also, make sure that that direct instruction is followed up by practice problems. You want to be able to stretch your wings a little bit, right? You want to understand how something works, and then you want to be able to try it out. So make sure that you partner with a program that is chock full of practice problems to shore up your understanding. And make sure, as a third thing, that those practice problems can also be administered in a real life testing environment. Make sure that you are taking regular timed practice tests aligned to your specific exam. Again, the questions are going to be asked the same way that they will be on the exam, and hold yourself accountable to the time limit that you will have on exam day. A lot of people struggle with that. When they take practice tests, they don't necessarily hold themselves accountable to that time limit, and that's a mistake, because the best way to manage your time is to practice managing your time. You don't want to find out your strengths and weaknesses of where you spend too much time or not enough time when you're taking the official exam. You want to find that out beforehand. Practice tests can be a wealth of information, a big help for you, especially if you do some post-practice exam exercises, like going back and really digging into the problems that you missed so that you can learn from those mistakes. We hope that today has been helpful. We hope this has given you a general overview of what to expect on the GED, HiSET, or task math section. And we hope that we've given you an idea of where to jump in with your studies. We also would be remiss if we didn't tell you that we have an excellent preparation program right here for you at Essential Education, with personalized lessons designed to meet an array, a variety of learning styles designed to meet you where you are, that will allow you to dig into those trouble spots and then fast forward through the things that you already understand. We couple that with an excellent line of workbooks to give you extra instruction and extra practice. Math students especially, you want as much hands-on practice scratching out those problems as you possibly can, so that it just becomes second nature. And then we also have, in addition to these live streams, additional times to meet with me, the student success coach here, with our live coaching sessions. We go live twice a week, multiple times a day on those two offerings every week on a variety of topics, variety of subjects, not only subject matter, but also just general good test prep, just general good study practices to know about in that effort of preparing yourself. We want you to be successful. We always say it, your success is our goal. And I often love this quote from Arthur Ashe that says, the key to success is confidence. A key to confidence is preparation. I want you to think about that. A key to success is confidence. A key to confidence is preparation. We want you to be able to walk in on test day with your head held high. And the best way to do that, when those negative thoughts start to creep up of, oh my goodness, can I do this? Maybe I've struggled with this in the past. Do I really think that I can do it now? Where you can confidently say yes because you have planned to pass by preparing to pass. You can do this. We can help you. I'm going to put lots of comments lots of links in our comment section today. Thanks for joining us live. And if you joined us via recording, don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Thanks so much and have a good one.